The learning objective today is I can interpret tables. So what kind of a table are we talking about? Well, we are not talking about the kind of table that you might eat your dinner on or sit to do your work on. That is not the kind of table we're talking about today. So let's think about what kind of table we are thinking about. Hi Year 3. So far this week with Mrs. Busby, you've been working on different ways to present information. You've looked at pictograms and you've looked at bar charts and you've been answering questions or interpreting the information on those pictograms or those bar charts. And what we're going to be doing today is continuing that interpreting. So we're still going to be looking at some information, but it's going to be presented in a different way. And today it's going to be presented in a table, as I mentioned before. So what we're going to do now is we're going to look at some tables of information and we're going to work through some questions about them, and they're very similar to the ones on the Do It, so then you're going to have a go at the Do It on your own. So let's have a look. So this is the kind of table that we're talking about. A table is really just a series of boxes used to present information to kind of make it easier to read. Now first, when you're looking at a table, I think, well, what is this table about? What's it showing us? We see that this table shows us some favourite ice cream flavours. So we've got Sophie and Freddie. And we've got their flavours of ice cream: vanilla, chocolate, strawberry and mint chocolate chip. And we've got ticks to show whether or not they like, or if there's left blank, that means that they don't like that particular flavour. So what we're going to do is we're going to answer some questions. And a good way as well is to use your finger. So if you're trying to read across, you think, okay, vanilla. Does Sophie like vanilla? Yes. Does Freddie like vanilla? No. So would you use your finger to help you when you're answering these questions? Okay, question number 1. Which ice creams do both Sophie and Freddie like? So we're looking for ticks in both boxes, and hopefully straight away you're thinking, oh, the answer is chocolate, because there's a tick in both boxes. Question number 2. Which ice creams does Freddie dislike? So hopefully you're thinking, well, if he dislikes them, then there's not going to be a tick in the box. So I'm talking about Freddie, and I'm looking carefully down, and I'm thinking, oh, vanilla and mint chocolate chip. Which child doesn't like strawberry ice cream? So we're thinking, oh, okay, so I'm looking at strawberry, and I'm thinking for someone who doesn't like it, so doesn't have a tick, so that is Sophie, because there's no tick in that box. So as you can see, it can be quite simple, some quite simple questions, but it's just really important that you are really carefully reading that table so that you don't make a little mistake. You might now want to actually have a go at the first part of your Do It, the first table and questions on the Do It. So now we're going to have a look at another table. And first of all, let's just work out what this table is showing us. So it tells us at the top here. This table shows the number of people at a garden centre, and we can see the days of the weeks down here, and then morning and afternoon, and the numbers then are the number of people going to the garden centre. So if I wanted to see, how many people were at the garden centre on Monday morning, I can see that would be 15 people at the garden centre. Okay, so once we know what we're looking at, we can start answering some questions. Question number 1. Which morning had the least amount of people? So I'm thinking about the morning and I want the smallest number of people. So we're reading down the mornings. And I thought, there's a 12 there, and I don't think there's a 13, but that 12 is lower. So the morning is Tuesday morning. Question number 2, on which afternoons were there more than 30 people? So I'm thinking about afternoons now. So I just want to look in this column, and I want more than 30 people. So I'm looking down for more than 30. 34 on Saturday and 31 on Sunday. So both on Saturday and Sunday there were more than 30 people. Question 3. On which day was there an odd number of people in the morning and afternoon? Now, to answer this question, we need to understand what an odd number is. So let's just have a quick recap of odd and even numbers. The way I remember it is this: 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, even numbers, they are great. 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, odd numbers are just fine. You might have your own way of remembering it, but as long as you know that if a number ends, it's the last digit that's important, with a 0, 2, 4, 6 or 8, it's an even number. If it ends with a 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, it's an odd number. So let's go back to our table, and we're having a look for an odd numbers on both the morning and afternoon. So we want a day when we had an odd on the morning and afternoon. So we've got 15 there in the morning, which is odd, but 20 in the afternoon, which is even. 12 in the morning, which is even because it ends with a 2. 18, even because it ends with an 8. We've got even in both. We've got 17, which is odd. 26, but that's even. And we're looking for one which is odd in both. 13, that's odd because it ends with a 3. 19, also odd because it ends with a 19. So I think our answer, we can check the rest. Our answer must be Thursday then, because it has an odd number in both the morning and the afternoon. Right, what I'd like you to have a go now at is the second part of the Do It. Okay, so hopefully you've had a go now at the Do It and are feeling more confident with answering questions about information in a table, interpreting a table. What we're going to do for the Twist It is it's switched a bit. You are going to be asking the questions about an information in a table. So you've got a little table, as you might have seen already, that has got days of the week and then numbers which show the number of hours a shop was open each day. So you've got to think of some questions. You might aim to write maybe about 4 questions. You might be able to do more than that about the information in that table. So if you're struggling for ideas, I've got a few ideas. So you might want to do a question about the least amount of hours. So on which day was the shop open for the least amount of hours, for example. You might ask a question saying something that's more or less than. So you might say, on which day or days was the shop open for more than 10 hours or less than 10 hours? You might do a kind of odd and even question. We've just talked about those. So you might ask about the hours being on which day was the shop open for an odd amount of hours or even amount of hours. You'd have to check, wouldn't you, if you're going to ask that, to check there was odd and even hours or which day or days it would be. You need to know the answer when you're writing these questions. You might ask a question which is asking someone to add everything up. So you might say, how many hours in total was the shop open over the week? So there's a few ideas. When you've written your questions, make sure that you know the answers to them, and then maybe you could test them out on somebody in your house. Okay, once you've done the Twist It, you can then move on to the Solve It if you've got time. And that's everything for today. Well done, everyone.